and 13 there. I sensed there was something not quite right.
Even at such a young age?
Yeah.
Suzanne Massey from Liverpool believes an anti-miscarriage drug given to her mother while she was pregnant is to blame for a lifetime of health problems. At times, the pain has left her unable to walk.
I was in hospital for a procedure every single year for the last 25 years. I've been in horrendous pain at times that's taken my breath away.
Doctors later discovered abnormalities within her reproductive system, which was covered in rare abnormal cells. They told Suzanne she'd been exposed to Diethylstilbestrol, or DES, while in her mother's womb.
It's taken some of my life away from me. Sorry. And I can't get that back.
DES was hailed as a wonder drug, prescribed on the NHS for nearly 4 decades to treat a range of issues, including preventing miscarriage and to stop breast milk production. It was banned in the 1970s when researchers found a link with cervical and breast cancer. The harm, including infertility, can be passed down the generations. Suzanne and others like her are known as DES daughters.
Always at the back of my mind, how long before cancer comes to my door?
She's now preparing to take legal action. Her lawyer believes the government is culpable.
For some reason, this has been kept silent for a long time.
What does redress, what does justice look like for the thousands of people affected by this?
I think this is a situation where this government needs to make available a compensation fund for these women who've been exposed to this horrendous drug. These are lifelong injuries, and it's time for accountability. It's time for this government to accept what they knew about this drug, and due to the lack of medical records and availability of information, this is the government's responsibility.
Diethylstilbestrol.
There were safety warnings about DES from the 1950s onwards, yet around the world it was still used for another 20 years with devastating consequences.
Pregnant women used to swallow DES pills by the handful.
The drug caused irreversible damage to their unborn children.
Harrowing ordeal with DES.
Up to 10 million women worldwide may have been exposed to it.
This is a letter that tells how my mother died. I sat with her and she knew I was with her and she died in my arms.
In Wiltshire, Jan believes her mother, Rita, was prescribed DES during 3 pregnancies to prevent miscarriage.
This is a picture when she was sitting with my dad and she told him that she wouldn't see my second birthday, which she was right about.
So she knew that she was dying?
She was dying. She knew she was dying.
Medical research suggests women who took the drug are at an increased risk of breast cancer.
Do you believe that your mum's exposure, prolonged exposure to the drug, was connected to her early death?
Oh, absolutely, yes. To get breast cancer at 31 is very, very young.
ITV News has heard from more than 100 women like Jan who are concerned about DES exposure. She was diagnosed with cervical cancer in her 20s, and her fear now turns to the impact on her 2 daughters, the 3rd generation.
This is big. This could affect their whole lives.
The family say doctors aren't taking their concerns about DES seriously. Beth has suffered multiple miscarriages and gynecological problems.
When I went for my abnormal smear and they did a biopsy, I mentioned it to the chap doing that, and he turned around and said, "Oh, I don't know what that is." And that shocks me that medical professionals aren't even aware that this is a thing. It's massively frustrating, massively frustrating.
And Hannah may never know if the precancerous cells found in her cervix were linked to DES exposure.
It's upsetting because we don't know, because there hasn't been enough research. We don't know going forward, am I going to transfer this down to have I transferred it down to my daughter? Is she then going to have issues? It shouldn't just be swept under the carpet.
It is an unusual thing that it carries generation to generation. Thalidomide did not carry generation to generation. Terrible though thalidomide was, it stopped at those children. This doesn't.
In Plymouth, this consultant treats 12 DES daughters. He believes enhanced cancer screenings could save lives. At the moment, there are no national guidelines.
The risk of cancer, including cancer of the vagina, of the neck of the womb, is nearly doubled in patient received, her mom received DES during pregnancy. And this is why most of these patients should be under screening, or sort of really close observation.
The full scale of harm is only realised later in life. Suzanne never had children and had a hysterectomy in her 40s.
What would it mean to you to meet other women who have been through a similar journey and to know that you're not alone?
Without sounding corny, it would be the answer to my prayers. I've been waiting 25 years for this, to just know that I'm not on the journey alone.
The government told us it will continue to explore what support can be offered to those exposed to DES. But there are growing calls for a full investigation into the dangers these women believe they've inherited. Sarah Corker, ITV News.